And we're going to cover two things. One is how to log into EnerGov, and then the other is how to create and complete an ED number. Right now, you're using an ED log. We're finding that that ED log has had some issues with data consistency, and those include, issues with duplicate numbers and missed numbers and maybe even deleted numbers in this using this Excel spreadsheet. So what we've done is we've made it very simple, and we are just going to be using ED numbers starting January 2025. And then ED numbers will be identified, and this will make more sense as we go into EnerGov, but there's different plan types. So the only plan type that you'll use is the environmental determination plan type. And then under that are different work classes, and the work classes include EIRs, NDMNDs, and exemptions. But they also include the addendum to an EIR or consistent with an EIR, including addendum or consistent with negative DECs and mitigated negative DECs. What we're going to do first is we're going to have you log into EnerGov if you have your system. If you don't, that's okay. We can also show you how it looks. But so basically EnerGov uses a single sign-on, so you shouldn't have to use your password, but you are using your county email as your username. If you do that and it prompts you for a password, it shouldn't, but if it does, go ahead and try your password that you use to log into your computer. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an ED number, and we start by going down to this plus sign in the bottom right. I'm going to kind of scroll in, and you'll see it at the bottom right here. I'll scroll back out so you can see where it is, and we'll click on the plus sign, and that's simply going to add the ED number plan. So see where it says add plan here? So what we do is we add a location first, and to add a location, you can click on search or add addresses. Click on that.
If you don't have a location, because I know you do a lot of work in the public right away, you can leave this blank.
Yeah, we can skip it too. Should I just skip it?
Yeah,
I don't have the plus sign on the bottom.
Oh, because it's not turned on yet. Thank you for saying, Lisa, that though. I appreciate that.
If you were adding an address, you would click add address, and then you would type it in here. So I'm just going to do one really quick. 135 Harvest. And I just typed in Harvest, and there's Harvest Place. That's what I'm looking for. I would click this little square, click select, and it populates the information. Okay, then you can go to the next one, which is plan details, and you click on it. And then you'll see, remember I talked about plan types. We would only have one. And the plan type for this is going to be environmental determination. I can just start typing it, and then when it appears below, I just click on it. So now it's identified as environmental determination. And then work class is the one that you get to decide on, which is it an EIR, an exemption, an NDMND, or is it consistent or an addendum with any of those? So for these purposes, we'll go ahead and just do an NDMND. The status is draft. Go ahead.
I just want to say the district's going to default here because we added an address, but if you don't add a location because it's in the public right away, you would just select, and if you don't mind showing the drop down, Jennifer, you'll select the correct district, and at the very bottom, there's multiple districts. So if it's more than one district, you would select that.
Okay, and then you add your name here to assigned to. And you won't, once you do that, you can even do like Jennifer GU, and it'll still come up with my name because not very many people have that name. So you just click on it when it shows up again below, and then you either go to the next button down at the bottom here in the bottom corner, or you can just jump right over to the next step, which is what we recommend. It's a lot easier.
In the plan details, you can add information in the description. So if you want to give a little bit of project detail, or the name of the project. I know in the ED log it said like project name. You can add it here.
And then you just click OK, and it's there. And then we go to additional info. And here we add a project type. Make sure we identify if it has cannabis activities or not. So we'll do a project type, In this case, it's likely going to be public, right? And then cannabis, we're going to say no. And then do you have a PW file number that you would use here? Public Works file number?
No, we don't. Our ED case is our file number for CEQA purposes, and which is our only purpose. Otherwise, we just have old-fashioned naming conventions,
Okay.
bridge numbers, and things like that. But yeah,
Okay.
not an
So you can
official
just leave
file
that.
number.
Yeah, you can just leave that blank. It's not required. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah,
Serena.
and we can I can remove it completely also because I wasn't too sure, and so I added it there, but I can remove it.
You know, who knows where the future is going to take us, Zarina. So if it's just optional and we can leave it blank, then we can just train ourselves to leave it blank if that is okay with you.
Works
I'm
great.
just wondering. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Great. And then you don't have to fill this out, but it's completely optional. If you want to fill out any of the potential impacts that you're finding in the initial study, you can click through it, whatever. You can also leave it blank and come back and do that later. Then you and then you can choose a contact to add. And I'll just add the one that I use for training.
Perfect. And maybe
And
what I'll
then-
do, Kate, is I will go ahead and create a contact that's general for Public Works, and you could just use that every time.
That would be
And
great.
Make it easy. Okay.
So then I just type in the
5252,
contact.
that's the number we give everybody.
What was
What
that?
is it?
It's our main line, 5252. We just tell everybody to call that number. So
Okay, I'll name the contact 525. I'm just kidding.
But we could also put our environmental email as the contact. We have a general environmental division email.
Oh, that's a great idea, Lisa. Maybe I'll get that from Kate, and then I'll make
Sounds
that
great.
up. But awesome.
yeah, we'll get you contact info.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep going here. I'm going to click add after I put my contact in there. I click the plus or clicked the square, turn it to a check mark, and then I click on add. And then here I see that I don't have the contact type, so I click on the plus sign and I'll just make myself the authorized agent. And then I go to files. You can add any files that you want. Your fees. You're not going to have fees, right?
No fees.
Huh. I don't know what I'm getting here.
So our public projects are exempt from the $50 filing fee, like the $50 collection fee for filing a document at the county clerk recorder's office. But we still, if it's above a notice of exemption, we still do need to file the California Department Fish and Wildlife fee at the clerk when we record a notice of determination. So I don't know if you need that information.
You know,
Maybe
Kate,
that's a little too much detail.
No, it's great because we actually do the same thing, and we do have that fee in the system that we can actually charge it to whoever is the contact for us. And I'm wondering, do you do a different financial system to collect that fee? I know it's a few $1,000s.
Yeah, we do internal department vouchers right now, but if there's opportunity, like we've had so many discussions in the past regarding to get to this training right here, it might be something that Public Works is interested in using this platform in the future. So,
okay, let's talk about that more and see if it's possible.
Sure.
Excellent.
So, and then we'll go to confirm. And one thing that EnerGov does is it gives you these little green check marks. And if you'll notice, these cubes or these blocks are the same as these. So if one of them is red, it means that you have to go back to that step and complete it. And when you click on it, when it's red, it will actually tell you what's missing in that particular step. So for us, we're lucky we got all green check marks, so it means it's ready to go. And you can click on finish down at the bottom here. When we do that, it will create the ED number. See it up here. So you'll see it's an environmental determination, application date, the work class, it's draft. Okay, then we go down to the workflow. And the workflow, we click the plus, or we click on closeout. And this is when we're ready to record the notice of determination. We want to make sure that we've assessed all the fees. And the other thing is, if we haven't started that workflow yet, so right now, because it's gray, we use 3 colors. We use gray, blue, and red. If it's gray, it means nothing's happened yet. If it's blue, it means you've started the process and it's still in process but not complete. And then green means it's completed, done, you're ready to go to the next step. So we have gray here, which means I haven't started the workflow. See, it says workflow here. That's how I know that I'm in this area of the menu. So if I'm in the workflow and it's gray, and let's say I've done my initial study and I've decided, you know what, this needs an EIR. I can actually change this work class to an EIR. And it has a different workflow template. So you get this little notice. You just click on continue. Same thing as save. And then I can go to my workflow. I'm going to go back. I'm going to put it back as an NDM&D. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when we start the workflow and you try to change it. So this time we're going to go to the workflow and we're like, okay, it's an NDM&D. We're going to click on the closeout. We're going to record the notice of determination and we're going to click on this plus sign. We're going to see that it says recorded notice of determination. Then I click on additional info. And then I add the recorded date. So this is the date that the document was actually filed with the clerk recorder, that the determination was filed with the clerk recorder. Click on it. We'll just make it the 2nd. Then you have to add the state clearinghouse number, whatever that number is for your project. Then you have to add there are mitigation measures that are required. You either go no or yes. I just said no. And then here you'll see where it says create. Okay, so notice we'll go ahead and save. Always save after you do anything. If you ever see a color change in EnerGov, or if you make a change in EnerGov, always save. It does not automatically save. So now we're in this situation where everything is blue, which means it's started, but it's not complete yet. We'll go up and let's say we decide, okay, we think it's actually exempt. You cannot change that work class because you've started the workflow. All right, so we started the workflow. We go back to the workflow again. We see we record notice of determination. We have an activity name, was created on, created by, and now we see this little check mark. And what the check mark will do is turn it green. So we click on the check mark because we've now completed this recording notice of determination. We click on save, and when we click on save, it turns this green, and this also turns green. And then if you go to your details, it changes from draft to adopted. So if it was an EIR, it would change it to certified. If it was exempt, it would say approved.